Good morning, everyone. This is Steven here. I'm host for the Themed Entertainment Engineering YouTube channel and whatever else I do with this. I don't really know. Doing sort of a just a, I guess, quick intro. I don't really know what my plan is today. I have some ideas, and I wanted to just chat about some stuff. I'm finding myself getting a little bit spread thin with a lot of different ideas. I keep going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. I find that a little bit frustrating, just personally, when I'm trying to, complete a project, and then I just sort of drop it and do the next thing, right? So, for example, I've been working on a basically like a life-size representation of one of the new Pokemon from the new games. I thought it was really cool, but admittedly, I was really into it while I was playing the game, right? I was not really the interest to finish it has not permeated through. Like, I did like 2 weeks of doing some 3D modeling, and that was about it. I had grand plans to do like incorporate a microcontroller, some stepper motors, presence detector for, if you get close to it, it would like activate and do all that stuff. That's still a very real possibility. I'd like to do that, but I have so many other projects in the works that I think that one will be done. I will do that. I'm going to do that this year. Now I say that I've got 11 months to make sure that happens. I'm going to work on it this year. The thing that has evaded me for God knows how long is this project, my Jungle Cruise boat. It starts and stops and starts and stops. I just never really get anywhere with it. I have a pretty decent model for this thing already. Let me see if I can find it. I modeled this whole thing essentially from scratch. I would just use like reference photos and stuff like that. I think I need to make the base a little bit thicker because I do want this to be an actual remote control boat. That has been the plan for a long time, a long time, and I've gotten various parts to work. I started building it several years ago out of balsa wood, and that ended up going nowhere. I bought a remote control boat, just like a cheap one from Target. I think it was like 30 bucks. And I was playing around with that for a little bit, trying to figure out, okay, so how does this thing work? How is it put together on the inside? I cracked it open. I had intended to initially gut it, just take all the internal components, and I would just use the same remote control and place that into the body for that. And the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to do something more with it. And so I can't remember if I've talked about this before on any shows or whatever, but ideally I want it to be remote control via a cell phone. I want to be able to have like a Bluetooth connection to this thing, and that might limit range, so we can't make it go too far away. But I think that the concept of having an Arduino microcontroller be programmed to receive signals from a phone and have that turn into action on the boat itself, I think that's really cool. So I think that I'm going to need to start breaking this down actually into a number of steps, right? So I've got a few different parallel things that have to happen, and fortunately now, before I didn't really, I had a bathtub, I guess, but I didn't really have like bodies of water to really test it, right? So I've got a pool in the back now and a lake like right behind my pool. So I've got some testing grounds as well. So that's cool. But we have a number of items that has to happen in order for all of this to come together, right? So I think I have actually a pretty good model. I like this model a lot. And I think that if I'm able to get some sort of like a cloth cover, this could be the model. This like I was saying before. Whoop, I just zoomed in on the front. Oh, hey, look, there's Rodriguez. This is earlier in its lifetime. This is where I think I did this on like the first day. Started adding some of these details here, giving you like a side profile. Anyways, here's a boat. Bottom needs to be thicker. So the design is kind of there. We're already there with the design. Now I gotta start building it. I got to start building it, and I got to start on the other end programming this thing. So I think that for today, I want to create a timeline with some due dates, and so I want to make sure that I can go to like Home Depot and pick up stuff that I need to pick up. I want to make sure I can like set aside time, like an afternoon or a whole day, to start just, you know, cutting wood down and trying to shape it up in the way that I need it to look. And so that's going to be an interesting process. I don't know how this is going to work. Ideally, I mean, everything would be obviously in the hull of the boat. It would be cool to have like some sort of antenna that's like sort of attached to this, but from what I remember, the Bluetooth antenna is not, it's like this big. It's actually pretty small, just wires into the Arduino, and it's just done like that. So I'm actually, it's going to be a lot less interesting because I think I'm going to, instead of doing some designs, start putting together a system and a timeline. So hopefully this might correspond with video updates on the channel. Don't hold me to that because I'm getting the things done and editing a video and uploading it are two different beasts, right? Like I might be able to actually get something done by February 15th, but the video might not be up for another week or something, right? I do have a busy life. I want to do this as a way to grow my design skills and my manufacturing skills even more. I am going to start just brainstorming, you know, what kinds of things need to happen, right? So I need redesign. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Okay, so I need to do the redesign for the boat hull. Oh my goodness. I need to check if my Arduino works. I might have accidentally blown it up. So actually I should just say purchase new parts, right? So, and this includes Arduino, what else? What else? I guess, you know, wood for the boat. This wireframe thing that I've got going on here. I don't know how I'm gonna make that. You know, this guy. But I initially thought about just seriously like a hanger wire. That was kind of my idea. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, so we'll figure that out. So wireframe for canopy. Okay, so I got Arduino, wood for boat, wireframe for canopy. I'm pretty sure I still have this was only actually working on an Android phone. I bought like a little track phone thing. It was like 30 bucks. So wood for boat, wireframe for canopy. Let's see. So what else do we have going on here? Let me bring this over here. Actually, could I just copy? Boom. Alright, so we'll just be able to look at this together as so I have a whole bunch of wiring still. And I did buy a pack of motors, like a little I think they're brush motors, not stepper motors. Also, I'm not 100% sure I know all the right terminology. I know stepper motors is one thing. I thought it was brush or brushless motor or something like that for the other one. Basically, stepper motor, you can tell it to go to a position, right? And so it can do a number of rotations to get to a position, whereas brushless, you tell it to spin. So we want, to my understanding, and this may be a lesson time during this, so we would want like the brushless motor to be the propeller, and the stepper motor to be the the rudder. I believe that's what we would need. So I would say just double check for motors. So then I also need to program the Arduino and then complete wiring and then begin construction. Not construction, because I still have to make the parts to make the boat. So really begin. So redesign for a redesign for the boat hull. That'll actually just be the physical changing of the whole design, and then I can start. Actually, that should include. So, oops, insert whole design, and then we would also put like break into parts, more or less. I mean, that's sort of an intense way of saying it. And then I would probably want to make some drawings so that I have something with dimensions to work off of. Complete or program Arduino, complete wiring. Alright, so test controller circuit. Oh, purchase new parts. I was using the battery tray from the original boat that I bought at Target, but I think I want to just buy a new, like, compatible pack of batteries. So batteries compatible with our Arduino. So this is kind of like a checklist for, I think that's probably it. So I need to do the controller circuit. So this is like a separate thing, right? So we have buying stuff, we have designing stuff, we have the electrical side, the electrical and programming side, and then we have the actual construction. So fabricate boat pieces, I guess. And then assemble pieces, and then I would say a float test, right? Like, I want to make sure this thing floats before I start putting electronics in it. So float test, I guess I would probably just mess with the flows of water in the hot tub or something, and then okay, so if that thing floats and we're all good, there's no leaks or anything, then I guess we could install all the electronics, right? And then finalize the like seal them into the hole. That might be part of assemble. No, whatever. So yeah, so install the electronics, and then a functional test. We would want to make sure that we have this thing actually working properly, that it is floating, and that it is operating as desired, right? So I guess that would be, so test controller circuit, yeah. So now functional test. And once we know that it's running all right, then we can start making this thing pretty. So throughout this whole thing, I'm anticipating not even having the top part. Heck, probably not even having this middle part. So these are probably all just going to be cosmetic features I lay on the top once I get the core of the boat working. So this is all required for this thing to work properly, and then I have to start like decorating it. So decoration would be, I guess that's just it. Decoration. Okay, and then maiden voyage. Okie dokie. So now that we have a pretty decent breakdown of what's going to happen here, I will probably put together some steps for each of these. Some things that I plan to do that I would like to see happen. And that will probably actually be in a Word document, not in Excel, just because the way that the formatting works. But let's see if I can start assigning some dates to these when I want these to be done. I wonder if I can pull up a calendar. There we go. Alright, so we can start looking at some dates for everything. So we are currently on February 1st. We want, let's see, so the redesign for the boat hull. I bet you that could be done in a couple weeks. I think that I can have the redesign done by the 15th, and if I am able to break it into parts and start making drawings, that should give me an idea of what wood I would need, and we can start looking into these guys. You know what? I wonder if I can, let's see, model the electronic components too. So if I can model places for the Arduino and other stuff to be mounted to, that might not be a bad idea. So model electronic components, and then make final assemblies. Make final assembly and then make the drawings. Okay, so then I would have a list of all the different parts, and I know what they look like and what I need to do to make them, and I know that how this whole thing is supposed to go together, right? So I'm not actually just throwing stuff together willy-nilly. I'm actually going to the store with a plan. I say I need this much wood because this and this and this can fit on one piece, and this can fit on one piece, and I need to use these kind of pieces for this. So yeah, I think this is the right call. So I've got the whole design. I'm going to break the whole into the parts. I want to start modeling electronic components, and I betcha there's a lot of that stuff on Thingiverse. Okay, so I'm going to make the final assembly, which really is just figuring out how those pieces fit into the existing design, and probably having to tweak a little bit. Alright, so this is all stuff that I want to do. I want this whole thing to be done. If I do a redesign for the boat hull, including all of this by, actually let's say the 29th through 29, I think that's doable. So I like this timeline. I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm sorry that this might have been a sort of boring episode, but it is definitely more important to be able to lay out all of these items. That's what I'm learning, especially at work a lot. You know, I keep trying to just do, and it's like, no, you really want to make sure you understand what you're trying to do. So my first step, and I have to get that done within this week, is redoing the whole design. So basically everything from this surface up stays the same. Going down, it needs to get thicker, and I need to start making it hollow and have pieces that remove so I can actually access all this stuff. So this is all going to kind of work together still, but I at least have an outline of what I want to do. Alright, anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope that as time goes on, these videos can become more frequent and improve in quality. I didn't even think I would record today. I literally thought, hey, I'll probably just, go play some Legend of Zelda because I've been on a Breath of the Wild kick. So the fact that I'm doing this at all is exciting to me, and I'm really looking forward to being able to do more. And yeah, so I will see you guys. I'll try to see you guys next week and hopefully have something to show for it. So Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.